Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and the streets is in a palatial new studio. My friend, look at you. And in a
Welcome to the
BKB
man cave,
t-shirt.
my
Look
man.
at that. I'm jealous. There's a machine gun. There's a plethora of just memorabilia. I'm immensely jealous.
Yeah, mate.
Immensely
We're gonna.
jealous.
I need to get this half decked out, and then we'll do a
Hmm.
proper tour next time. We got
Yeah.
some matching stuff as well, so we'll be able to show the
Yeah.
peoples.
I was single for about 9 minutes before I met my wife. And in those 9 minutes, I bought, I think, 15 to 20 Vegas official posters that I fully had with the intention of decking it all out on the wall. I had signed gloves. I was like, fucking, yeah. Obviously, just
Yeah, yeah,
never happened, did it?
mate.
Never,
You've
ever
never
happened.
seen someone run as fast as when we did the viewing of this property, seeing this bit, and me just be like, "All right, this area is mine. All my shit is going here."
I'll never have that. The only way I have that
We
is
got to
if I
get good
have,
at DIY, mate. We'll
yeah.
build it out the back.
I think the only way we have that is if we get to the stage where we actually get a studio, preferably above a shop. And then every now and again, I'll just like sleep on the sofa bed and just be like, man cave. Uh, before we go into this, I was going to message you earlier, but I'm going to involve the other people that our legion, our swarm of listeners. Um,
God,
with the new design for the logo, which will be coming, right? I was thinking because it's about having a shit car in it in the background. It's about giving it
yeah,
the bad man vibes with a shit car in the background.
big time.
Is there anything shitter than a Mazda MX-5? Because it's like everything that a sports car wants to be, but it's just not, right? Like that original shape MX-5. I saw one today and I was just like, someone slashed up the convertible roof. It was an absolute donkey. That or one of them Bulgarian trike things, because there's a company that sells them near me up the road. And what I can
That
do, I
reminds
can
me
do
of The Simpsons. Put it in H.
exactly right. But I'll do it side saddle with my legs down the side like a lady, just holding onto you at the back, turning. Huge. Either way, that's coming. Little bit of news for the listener. Them two t-shirts are currently under design and construction.
Whoop whoop.
I'm looking quite forward to them. Like it was nearly as avant-garde, as abstract as when I messaged the original guy and was like, I want Ryu and Ken bald washing a Fiat 500 with 2 cups of coffee on the roof. Can you make that happen? Cheers. $22 later. Boom. Here we are. Um, this is a little bit more in depth, but we get the first sketch tomorrow. I would imagine that the other tee, which is just like it's just like a nice calm. I could see a bunch of people in the gym wearing it. Decent. That
Nice.
that probably will be done pretty quick because my boy Halleck is rapid on that one. The other one is a
Excellent.
fiver job. Yeah, but I'm super happy about that.
So we were off air, but we were productive, huh? Well, you were especially productive.
Always
Nice.
productive. Yeah, we had a little bit of a delay. Streets, as you can see, moved to a palatial new suite. Um, I'm going to Donny T it again and say that we weren't off air because Streets was moving. We were off air because we were meeting with WME and CAA for representation. We were just playing each other. We were just playing them off each other. And that's where we're at right now. That's the stage we're at. And I'm going to keep it that way. Also, we do need to address something. We didn't miss the US card that went on over the weekend.
Oh
We did
yeah, no, no, no.
a full recap and a
In
full
depth.
everything in depth. If you didn't hear it, didn't see it, didn't find it, that's on you, right? Donny teeing it out again. We did not know that that was going on.
All
So
over everything, all the time.
what do you want? It was done. It was dusted. It was fantastic. It was tremendous, and we gave the best review that you could ever have, and 100% prediction correct. Have that.
There we
So
go.
um, let's start where we started last time, right? Because I believe DAZN have said that they don't want Canelo fighting the Uber driver, which is good news for me because I'm letting my beard grow, and 100% he's down at the barber's, right? So I'm going to let him do the beard so you don't feel too bad about missing out on the DAZN gig. Apparently they've said, no, mate, we can't, we're not dropping 35 mil for you to beat up the barber.
proper awkward, right? Just like, imagine one day thinking you get the biggest payday of your life to just, oh, no.
I mean, I feel a little bit sorry for him, but also I feel a little bit sorry for like the Canelo team, where they're just like, we're just going to bang out this smooth. We're going to get that low key 30 for doing nothing. We're probably not even going to do a camp, but it'll just turn up and bash the granny out of him, and it's going to be all right. Poor guy. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, more people know who he is now than ever before.
Yeah, for sure. And he gets saved however that fight was going to end up, which I think we know exactly how that fight was going to end up.
Yeah. Shall we start with Sergio?
Let's start with Sergio.
Sergio, the Bionic Man, because he's got 2 knee replacements and no hips left. Martinez is back. He won.
He did.
I honestly didn't bother watching it. I didn't think there was much value in it.
Yeah, I literally caught up just because I knew we were going to discuss it today. It was one of those ones very much under the radar, which is a shame. You know, I mean, in his day, what a fighter, man. Like, that Paul Williams knockout is one of the biggest.
The first Paul Williams fight, it's one of the best fights you'll watch. Like, there was a little period on HBO where you had like Berto versus Collazo. What a gem.
Oh my God.
Berto versus Ortiz. Gem. Williams versus Martinez. Absolute gem. They had a little period where these were like chief support fights, or maybe like the main card on a Friday night show that HBO didn't really do much with.
That just went mega.
Just cracking fights. They were really, really something special. But yeah, like, epic 154, epic, you know, middleweight champ, completely dethroned the man. Probably was a little bit too small to be going up, but he did. He had a great style. The style didn't bode well against Father Time.
Yeah.
And now he's back. I mean, he can't be short cash. I still want to know why he's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, he says, you know, he loves the challenge. There is a bit, you know, he is one of them competitors. Maybe it's just like, he hasn't fought in 6 years since the Cotto loss. And that was a pretty good time to step out because, well, I mean, we were saying off air, like, even though he made a comeback, are his knees coming with him? Like, that was hard. That was hard to watch. You
would think that he would have to nearly like veteran old man it and have a near completely different style, right? Or he's got enough in the tank to go hard for maybe 4 rounds, and then you got a problem. He's still going to have the power. He's still, it's going to be like the eyes and the chin and the wear and tear. I mean, he may be all right. He may have healed up quite nice. He may have, I mean, there's been a lot of changes in them 6 years he's been gone. You know, you got stem cell treatments he could have had. He could have had the PRP. He could have been, it could be in decent nick again. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, so he fought this Jose Miguel Fandino, stopped him in the 7th. It was like there were shades of the old Sergio, but it was the pace of the fight, everything, the mobility wasn't there. It was just, and you know, it's his first time back in 6 years, but at the same time, he's 45 now. It's like, which you know, where's this really going? What I was happy to hear though, he was like, he'll only, which is a good thing and a bad thing. He's like, I'd only come out for the big names like Floyd, Pacquiao. It's like,
I mean, obviously, obviously that's not going to happen. What big name he might get though? He might get Oscar, because that's got to be a good one for him to come back with.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, he was saying Chavez Jr., and like, he's, you know, God knows what he's, exactly. He said he'd do the rematch of that, but I mean,
don't
A, are people chomping on the bit for that, and B, like, you know, what's Chavez Jr. doing at the minute, you know?
I mean, not much. He's not, it's not gone well, is it, for Chavez Jr.?
I mean, when you're having training camps and calling Freddie to come around to your house because you can't be asked going to the gym, that's... Yeah.
It's not great. It's not great. I mean, respect for Freddie for doing it, but that's going to be... Why? I mean, he bailed on, you know, the Danny Jacobs fight. He completely not... I mean, like, you know, no judgment whatsoever. I don't know what it's like to be punched in the movie by Danny Jacobs, but I'm not a professional. He is. And he, like, his dad just looked like he was mortified. It was just...
I mean, I was at his fight against Canelo, and it
was gross, wasn't it? It was pointless.
You know, you're just like, what? Like you just what? It reminded me of Clotty when he fought Pacquiao. Remember, he's just high guarding it, and it's like, you're not going to knock me out. I'm going to make 12. You know,
The double hook.
Yeah.
He gave it the double hook and he gave it the dragon fist, didn't he? Oh, Clotty. Shout out. Right, he's part of the Peace Club. I do not want to hear it because he's so muscular and so dark and has the biggest smile on his face at all times.
There's a reason for that smile, mate. That's an ankle.
thing-
That's an ankle bagger right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Matte black, right? Matte. No shine on it whatsoever. Light absorbing, just Onyx Panther. Hard. Yeah, Serge. I mean, he might come back. They might do Oscar. I mean, I don't see what Oscar's even bothering for, but Dana smashed him up, didn't he? Cocaine. Coffee into the night and what? But yeah, let's see where that goes. Do you want to start? Because there's only really two fights worth talking about on the US cards that we did a full expose on. What do you think?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah?
Big time.
Porter? Porter
yeah.
on PBC?
Let's
He
do
looked
that.
wicked.
He looked great. What didn't look great is the freaky superimposed crowd in the background. And like the cheers, it's like, you know, a serial killer movie where they're waiting behind the shower curtain. So it's fucking odd. But I mean, listen, Porter is never in a boring fight. And
No.
for him to go 12 is good, you know, because it's been a while since he's been in there. One thing I'm very confused on his box rec, it said that he's suspended from the California State Athletic Commission. I have no idea why. I looked into it. I couldn't find anything. I'm not sure if it's a glitch or what, but literally today I was looking on it and it had up the top. So I have no idea what that's about.
That's weird.
Yeah. So
I mean, he's one of them fighters where if he retrospectively tested positive, like you wouldn't blink, right? I mean, I'm not saying he is whatsoever,
sure.
but it would make sense. He looks.
He's got the build of him. Fucking hell, mate.
He's just
muscle on muscle.
A tank of a little man, isn't he? Like he's a tank, but he's another one, kind of like the John O'Carroll, right? I'm sure it's not pleasant getting cracked by him, but the shots that he looks like he throws, they look like they should be like folders, but they're just not, I guess.
31 wins, only 17 KOs, and especially the way he fights, he's such a pressure fighter. But maybe it's the same sort of thing where he's swarming his own work and things like that.
I mean, he looked good. He looked wicked with the jab. He was wicked with combos. And I tell you what was really nice was that he was giving it like the pivot twist and lifting on the left uppercut, which was really, really like it was. I mean, you know, what is he? Formella, whatever. You know, he's 22-0. He's no mug, but he's like
just nowhere near the level of competition, right?
He's fought no one compared to Sean Porter.
In the seventh, mate, that leaping and hook that Porter caught him with, and then just uppercut. He would have put him out then, but you know he got saved by the bell. But that was that was
shout out to that ref, because there was a couple of times where refs have been, I don't know if they get paid by the hour, but every now and again there was a couple of times where you wouldn't have been surprised if the ref just went, mate, like I'm doing you a favor here. Right, I'm genuinely doing you a favor.
Do you want to have a look at the scorecard? Do you really want to go through this?
Exactly. Complete shutout. You couldn't. I don't want to hear anyone that says that even a round was 10-10. Like it was every round, complete shutout.
Looked great too, and Gas Tank fantastic. His only losses: Kell Brook, Thurman, and Spence, and you know, very close, very competitive fights, especially, you know, that Brook one, the Spence fight, that was a fight of the year candidate for sure. Thurman fight, they went at it. That was,
I mean, to be fair, again, I know I'm a little bit of a Brook fan, but he's the only one that's properly like, you know, he tamed him. You know, the Spence fight was life and death, and had that knockdown not happened, who knows, right? Who knows where that judge would have been. Wicked fight. You know, let's get him back in. He wants the winner of Garcia Spence anyway.
Yeah.
And
he's already got the win over Garcia. He's already fought Spence. Beat Berto, beat Broner. I mean, technically he's got that win over Udenis Ugas, which
it was a split though, wasn't it?
And mate, I mean, that was
tight.
I love Porter. I've been fortunate a few times to see Ugas train with Ismail Salas, legendary coach over in the States. Mate, sharp as fuck. And I was gutted for him. Like, that decision was, I mean, technically Porter won that, but yeah, yeah. You know, boxing's boxing sometimes. But
he looked wicked, and
wicked.
You know, wicked to come back. Yes, it was weird, very weird with the screens with the fake crowd hue in the background. But on the other card, which was Alvarez versus Joe Smith Jr., they just thought, you know what we'll do? This won't be distracting at all. We'll smash high-res, high-vivid colours posters of previous fights. What are you doing? Like, it's like changing mid-round, and I'm like looking at it like, this must be just really distracting.
Yeah, and I was like, hang on a minute, like, because all the fights, you know, like, these are previous fights. It's not even like it's an advertisement for an upcoming thing. It's
Up and
just
coming
like,
fight would make more sense. Yeah, literally just like, have that. But is there any way that Joe Smith Jr., his missus doesn't look exactly and sound exactly like J-Well from Jersey Shore? Like, he's Jersey Shore elite, isn't he? Like, he is Guido massive, and I fucking love that dude. He is so aggy. Punch B-Hop out the ring, right? It was
that was painful to watch.
It was just like, I showed my mate Essay that, and he's just like, oh, bro, that's racist. And ever since then, anything can be racist at any time, as far as I'm concerned. There are no limits on that one. Boundaries are an illusion.
He loves punch people out the ring. He punched Alvarez out the ring. Like.
Yeah, he properly, like, with the exception of, like, he got caught with one shot which made his legs go a little bit.
Yep.
He bashed the fuck out of Alvarez.
Mate,
like, that was bad.
He comes to fight. Like,
yes, he does.
Jesus Christ.
Big stomping, spearing jabs, big, heavy. Like, every time he would whip a little combo, he would push him back to the ropes, and then he would just start spearing like these horrible little short straight shots down the middle. He looked wicked.
Mate, when he fought Fonfara, and Fonfara was on a tear then, and I was like, this is going to be... And same thing, he got a little bit rocked and then just beat the fuck out of him. First round got him, but that was an annihilation. And I mean, he went the distance with Bivol. That deserves a win of its own. You know, there should be a separate thing, because that dude's a fucking monster, mate.
The issue is he's one style, isn't he? Right? Yeah. He's kill or be killed. It's either that he gets on top of you and he can fight his fight, which I think is probably why Alvarez had that, because Alvarez, you know, he's no joke whatsoever. Yeah, very unlucky not to take out very, very unlucky with Kovalev the second time, weren't he?
Second time, First time.
First time he got it, but like he's a wicked fighter. You know, he's just I just think that he maybe waited too long, and then the damage accumulated. He clearly got his nose busted.
Yeah, I mean that's straight right to set up the finish, to then knock him down with the jab follow up was sweet. That right hand was just like textbook. Hand turned over to right on the button, and then a pop to finish. Brilliant fight, brilliant finish.
Potentially and allegedly, our first guest had to delay being our first guest because potentially and allegedly he was in the corner of Alvarez. So, no big deal.
I can't wait for that, mate. I'm not even going to start talking about that because I'll get all giddy.
Right. Fight camp, week 4.
Oh, sorry. Before we move on, one thing, though. Alvarez, what the fuck came out like he dunked his face in the Vaseline in the 8th round? Did you see that? Like, just
that was a lot. That was like he had.
Like, steady on, Tiger.
Do you know? He looked like a bukkake, didn't he? He looked like a bukkake scene. He looked the end of the night, is what he looked like. He looked like the end of the scene when they're just like, right, the shower's over there, darling.
Eyes just red.
Yeah. A plasterer's radio is what he looked like.
That's it. If you don't know what bukkake is, Google it. At work.
It's ancient and beautiful, is what it is. It's a very traditional form of love.
Who the fuck are we kidding? As if anyone listens to us that doesn't know what bukkake is.
Everyone knows what bukkake is. Everyone. But yeah, that was a little bit much. And like even the commentators were laughing it off a little bit, weren't they? They were just like, "Geez, are we sure? Are we sure?" But yeah, should we go to the Giza Zebo?
Let's do it, mate. Let's do it.
The final Giza Zebo.
Shame that.
I have to admit, I was pleased with it. The card. The card was good.
Oh,
The card was good. Um, worth the 22 quid. Fine. Didn't begrudge paying it. Great production. Like, it's been wonderful to have boxing back. It's been wonderful to have the fights that they've had back, where clearly he's had a couple of chats with Big Boy Dana, and Dana's like, look, you got to incentivize these lot. There's no crowd,
yeah.
but it's gonna happen. It was a wicked show,
It
right?
really fucking
It
was.
really was, right? Let's start with Cullen and Shelley.
Shelley.
Right. First of all, I'm going to bring this up before we go into the technicals.
Yep.
Jack Cullen had a strip, 1.5 inches of body hair, down from his chest down to his belly button. It was distracting, and my wife was appalled. Right? I've never seen body hair like that before. It was like someone just got one of the Rolf Harris big markers and just went, there you go, bruv. He's got a North Face tattoo on his shoulder blade. What are we doing? What's happening? Do you enjoy country walks that much, my brother?
I want to think it was like the best sponsorship deal ever, but
maybe. I'll tell you what, like we're strapping on sponsors for fun. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of money involved for me to get it tattooed on me. Especially North Face. Do I really want to look like a fucking rambling lesbian? No. Or an American tourist. Hey, could you show me where Leicester Square is? No. No, I can't. With your red Kagul, you prick, and New Balance. Move on. Anyway, that was, of the fight camp fights, that's probably the only one where I can hand up say, that was a piss take. That was a robbery.
Yeah.
Shelley, like he fucked him. Like they done him dirty there. They done
the
him
97, 93. I mean, and that was the first one they called. I was like, yeah, okay, fair.
Fine.
For him.
That's right. Yeah.
96, 95, Cullen. It's like, oh, hang on a minute. Then 95, 95, draw. Like, what the fuck fight are you watching?
Yeah. What were you watching? Did you have something smeared all over your perspective? Like it was bad.
They were at the same Bukaki party, mate. That was
Yeah.
just like, fucking whatever.
Yeah. That was a bad one. Right, that was a bad one, and that's one of the ones where, because a lot of people know who Jack Cullen is. That was Zach's first showing, really, weren't it? And that's a first show.
I mean, I feel for him. 22 years old, mate. He put on a fucking show.
He looked good.
He really did. Cullen did come in underweight, which right, and didn't fight like he normally did because he's known for like just tearing up. But
I don't think that would have done well against him though. If he was trying to,
Shelley just didn't allow him to.
Yeah. But he was whipping over those big overhands, trying to catch him with that.
He's a strong boy too, mate. He's a strong boy. Anytime he tried to maneuver himself, I was like, not today, son. Have a bit of this.
Yeah, I don't know how they scored that because the fight was controlled by Shelley. The power punching, Shelley. The general tone of the fight was all him. The only thing you can say is that he did the majority of it going backwards.
Yep.
But
it's the same thing as effective aggressiveness.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't know what those two judges are scoring, right? And you know, Shelley's defense primarily was a step back, a lean back, and off to the side, which, if they're about aggression and Cullen's giving it the earmuffs up and coming forward,
that guy's coming forward.
Yeah, that's literally the only argument that you can make for them to be scoring that fight against him. But even then, it's like, look at the damage. Look at who was getting cracked. Look who was doing the work. It was bad. It was yeah.
Although they both look like they've been through a fucking fight. Jesus Christ.
They had both been through a big fight, and bit strong. I think that they owe each other a rematch. It's one of those ones where you kind of hope that Shelley gets another opportunity on that level of stage, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not surprising, but like obviously he was saying, like, I want to rematch. I get that. When Cullen was like, oh, that decision was bullshit, it's like, ooh, son, hang on, you should take that happily.
Watch this. We will have to discuss this because I text you. Did his nan make his robe for him? Shelley's robe, bless him, was green and red, and it looked like he had fuzzy felt that just had crudely cut out Zach Shelley. It looked like he did it himself out of paper. It was bad. Like, I don't know where you get that sort of garment created, But if it's in the second and third world, they put a little bit more effort into it than that. Yeah, that looked like a home ec project, bless him. And yeah, whatever. You can always tell, can't you? You can always tell by the gear who really is into it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I
The
can tell.
off the shelf Lonsdale ones, you're like, that guy's gonna lose.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you've been given these in the changing room. They had the spares. Um, Babic and Winters.
Oh, mate. It
He
lived up to his name, mate. Savage.
he
Fucking
he
hell.
he really, really, really fights angry, doesn't he, that dude? He really does. Like
They
there
said
was,
Joe Frazier's an influence. You can see it. Fucking hell, them hooks. Jesus Christ.
I don't think he threw a single straight punch.
Yeah.
Everything had a curve to it, didn't it? Like he was just whipping. He is not in there for anything other than to hurt people. And
Yeah. It's like they ain't paying overtime. Fucking
No.
But I mean, Winters, he had a chin on him because fucking hell, some of
Yeah, I
them
know.
hit clean.
he did, and he was doing quite well at rolling a little bit ish, but he just couldn't handle that. And he looked small, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like he looked like he didn't really belong there with him. But yeah, Babic is an absolute animal.
Mate, I would watch him fight every week if I could. Like, just
Yeah,
one of them
and I think
proper
he'd be up for it as well.
pleasing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and you gotta love the.
Well, he's
Balkans.
Dillion's boy, isn't it? So
Yeah,
makes
exactly.
sense.
Just maximum violence. But like them Balklands boys, they always have such like ominous sayings. I can't even remember. There was something that he said in the build-up, and it wasn't like, I'm going to beat you at this, and it was like, I've got your family in a fucking transit van. It had proper people trafficking vibe. It was just like it was just like Liam Neeson was waiting to take him down. It was bad. It was proper bad. Shout out to the Balklands. We've got massive listenership in Zurich. But yeah, he looked powerful. Who knows how far he goes? He's 3-0.
4-0 now.
4-0 with 4 knockouts.
Yeah.
You need to start. You need to start seeing him against. I
Although
don't
to
know.
be fair, I'm gonna say, like we talked about in the build-up, Winter's
Yeah,
he's an experienced guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So if they're putting him on that trajectory, whatever. You know what I mean?
trajectory. Yeah.
That's the word. That's the word. Fucking good on him. There's going to be some interesting fights coming up, hopefully. So I'll definitely be watching, mate. That was.
If he puts those performances on, they'll always have him on, won't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's a promoter's dream. Just
Yeah.
comes to bang.
Yeah, you keep him away from like the Huey Furies. You keep
Yeah,
him away from
yeah.
anyone that's going to try and jab him, and just let him just tear up.
Yeah.
Tear up big. Right. Luther Clay versus Chris Congo. It's a good fight.
So, I am not going to .et this. I will take full blame. This is one, and I do not know how. I completely forgot. This caught me off guard when we discussed it last week. I was like, shit, I totally forgot that fight was on this card. And Chris Congo comes into Circle 8. Big up Circle 8. Big up Chris. So,
Does he?
yeah.
Shout
So,
out.
should have hardly gone with him. Man, the skill from both was fantastic. Like, that was a really high caliber boxing fight. More of that, please. Like, he was fantastic. But take nothing away from Clay. He did fantastic as well. But what a fight, mate. I really like that.
Yeah, it was quality. Clay, I mean, you could see it was. I know the commentary team was saying it all the way through. It was very much so like one of them's learned on the pro job. One of them was the amateur
That
stand.
amateur, yeah.
You could see that, but you could also see that Congo had. He had the amateur pedigree and he had everything that goes with it, but he also had that composure. Like he knew where this was going, where I think Clay was trying to. He was trying to just assert his game plan, and that was it. Like he had plan A. He might have had a little bit of plan B, but there wasn't much to it. Where Congo, you knew, kind of had him.
Yeah, 100%. And it's almost like his plan B didn't really involve Congo. It was just like, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. Because, he didn't adapt to it. And, mate, Congo, his positioning, everything, hand control, lovely. Really, really beautiful boxing.
And had the big boy Floyd Schultz, didn't he? He had the white and black fur.
He almost had the Floyd back up, let him come there. Whoa, boom. Yeah.
He looked wicked.
Lush.
Right. Let's go to the Queens, because some people message me, because obviously on my gram, if anyone follows me, at RobXPT, anyone that follows my Instagram,
Hilarity Daily. Make sure you follow.
yeah.
That shit
Listen,
is funny.
there should be at no point does anyone should think that I'm being serious or anything other than like I'm talking about. I will do something on impulse because I fancy it. Who
Yeah,
cares? Like,
as
don't.
it should be.
Yeah. Don't message me saying that was a robbery. That's disgusting. It's like, well, I'm not a judge, so I don't care. What do you want from me? I didn't think that was a robbery. I had that 96, 94 to Katie Taylor.
People saying it was a robbery, were they?
Yeah, a lot of people. But they were those are the people that score the blind forehead forward. Like you know, Passoon looked exactly like what was that shit 80s film where the boy had like the deformity on his head and he looked like a lion or a mask. Like, I tell you what she looked like. She looked like Quagmire after a car crash at the end of that fight. She looked fucking horrific. Yeah, Katie Taylor had a big old lump out of her movie. Fine, that was a head bash, but Graflin
Yeah,
was
from like round 2 as well. I was like,
Yeah.
fucking fair play for fight, because that you could tell sometimes they like clash
Yeah.
edges, like
Yeah.
shit, that must hurt. But like, she is a fucking soldier.
Yep.
Like, always comes to fight. I do not think she won that one.
No.
Same thing. I had Katie up by 2, and Katie started so. I guess first time she started
She
well as well.
got drawn into it, didn't she?
100%, and it's like
That's what it was. She started those first 4 rounds, right? So again, let's break this down. Out of a 10-round fight, those first 4 rounds, like unequivocally, those first 4 rounds were Taylor, right? First
yeah,
4.
even going into the 5th, I'd say, like even at the
Even
5th,
going into the 5th, yeah. Like, so unequivocally, Taylor, she was moving, she was cracking her with horrible short, sharp shots and snapping her head back on the counter. She was slipping off to the side and rattling her. She looked wicked, and I kind of thought it was going to either be one of those where she really backs off down the end and just amateur style snooze fest it towards the end,
Yep.
or she was going to catch her coming in and drop her, right? But obviously it progressed into
hard chick to draw. Like,
Yeah.
But she started off backing up on the angle. All this, it was like,
Yeah.
she had all the. I mean, we talked about her boxing IQ. Like, she's off the charts. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is going to be a shutout. She's really learned. She's going to maintain this. But Delphi, that dog in her, she draws. And if you can draw someone like Katie Taylor into that war twice,
Yeah.
you're on the right. I mean, her record speaks for herself. And like I said, I don't think she won, but my God, she went out on her shield, and you hang your head high from a performance like that. There was a bit of holding and pushing her head down, but she's a surprisingly clean fighter for that style.
Yeah.
The thing is, she's got just that one gear, but what a fucking gear it is. She can just keep that going.
She's got one gear, and that's 6th gear at all times. But when she's like the second that she kind of finds that little bit of range, is that her first 1 or 2 steps are so explosive that she can close distance even when she's been bashed. Some fighters, when they get cracked, their instinct is like a half step back, or they sink down, moving their head off to the side. She goes the other way, which is the other safety route, which is being inside the shots. Forehead comes straight forward, and she's got this really explosive 1 or 2 step straight back in, where she can tie up again and she can start working. Like the shots.
It's probably always Thai boxers too. It's like she's galloping in, like she's got that like Heidi step in, pop, cross this distance, fantastic. And then Katie was just fighting back. It's just like, all right, listen. It's like, oh man, like you can't so in the last round they went hell for leather again.
They really did. Yeah,
she can do it, but it's like you don't need to do it. It's like the whole Amir Khan thing. It's like you have that boxing and you get dragged into these fights, and that's where we've seen from him, why leave it to chance? You know what I mean? Like, if you've got the equalizer, you've got a machine gun, why are you rocking up with the fucking penknife?
I mean, I just assume that she just wants to be. I mean, she's touted and she's hailed as one of the 2 faces of women's boxing. They've done the female pound for pound now, haven't they? They've put her number 2. I think Cressida's number 1 now. But that you have the 2 of them, right? And you have the European side, you have the North American side. I think that there's conversations maybe from the sponsors and the advertisers. You know, you never know. There might be just this little bit of pressure that she might even just put on herself to entertain.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I thought this would cater her positively not having the crowd, because that's an easy one to, even with all her amazing experience, when that cheering starts and everything like that, you get that red mist and you start going. I thought this will actually serve her well, not having that, so she can really stay focused. She can hear the instructions. She's, you know, as we said, genius in that ring. But it's just like she loves the dog, which is great. That's what makes fighters remembered. Do you know what I mean? There's plenty of fighters that played it cautiously, got the win, and it's not the most crowd pleasing thing. But with someone that there's some fights where a win's a win. And in fairness, she got the win, she got it clear, fair enough. Yeah. But I was just like, I would have left that a couple more rounds before you start going to war.
What did one of them have? One of them had it like 93, 97, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that's liberties. That's just, again, what are you watching?
Yeah.
That one would have, if it was 97, 93 all the way across the board, then you're like, that's a piss take.
Yeah, you filled that out before. Yeah, that didn't give the... Yeah, she had some great rounds in there. Like, I thought from like 6 to like 9, she really came on strong.
Yeah, she did. But again, the shots were like cuffing, back of the glove, forearm, shoving. There wasn't that much to it. And I mean, if you watch the highlights of that, you know, depending on who cut the highlight together, you're going to see Taylor short, sharp, effective work on the counter, or even stopping her on the way in before that stagger blast back in. Oof, exactly. And it may have just been a case that, you know, she just was like, she can't hurt me. I've taken her biggest shots.
Yeah.
And I wore them, and I'm not sure that she can do the same with me, because, you know, Kate is fucking thick. You know, our boy Jesse has a rather large penchant for Miss Taylor, don't you?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he does. But he said that she has to keep winning, otherwise he's going to lose interest. The classic motivator. To be fair,
mate. Like, she's fucking golden chick. Golden chick. What an animal. Yeah. What an animal.
So, shall we have a moment of silence?
I mean, listen.
Spoiler alert. Ended suddenly. Spoiler alert.
I am happy for Povetkin, because that guy is a G. Like, 40 years old, fucking whoever you're putting in that ring, I'm fighting him. There's no like, no, I want this. So I like, he's in there. Dillian's the same. So you know you're going to have a scrap. Like, we discussed this previously. I always think Povetkin is undersold. Like, people always underestimate him. I mean,
you just got to look at his amateur record, right? He's got every gold. He's got every gold that you can have. He's won every championship that you can have. He's no joke whatsoever. The man is a boxing computer.
He's come up hard too. You know?
He's come up hard. He started kickboxing, moved into traditional. You know, he's just like, he is undoubtedly one of the most Russian-looking humans the world has ever known. Right? Like, you look at that geez, you go, he's Russian. You know what I mean? It's just like, you see like Ricky Martin. You're like, oh, that dude's from South America. All good. Yeah. He's from Russia. Of course he is. But of course he is. Provodnikov. He's 100% from Siberia. Like, there's nowhere else that you could possibly be. Yeah. But before we go into the technicalities of this fight, because it was a good fight while it's lasted. Most epic Russian tune to walk into ever. What was that?
I don't know, but we need to play it for the next intro song, I think. Right? We need a remix of that shit.
I want to have a crack at doing that. If I ever do karaoke, I'm in. Whatever that tune was, in he comes. The only way that geezer could have been more Russian is if he came into the ring in a leather jacket and some jeans with bejazzles up the side. He's just, yeah. He gave Dillian the Novichok, right? Without it being in ZZ. He gave it the ricin injection out of nowhere. It was one of the few, like, it's been a while since it's been like, oh, all right then, was the only reaction. Like, it was just,
especially from the round before, like hitting the deck twice.
Yeah.
So I mean, that first one, that was a flash knockdown. It's still a knockdown. That was a clean shot, short shot,
and his legs went as well.
Yeah, that second catch uppercut was lovely. Funny, like two beautiful uppercuts in the fight. Yeah. One thing in the commentary, like this comes up a bit, and not to nitpick, but nitpicking. They were saying, so yes, Povetkin does inside slip a lot and throws out right hand. That is risky, right? Because obviously their right hand's there. But this one, Dillian threw the right hand, so he slipped to the outside. So there's no other hand there. So it's not even a risky. That was perfectly timed. Like he kind of initiated before it. So, but
it wasn't a lucky shot.
Out of the way, and then no chance.
It wasn't a lucky shot. And from second one of round one, Povetkin was whipping that left to the body. And
mate.
But the thing is, Dillian was taking it and giving his back and shifting Povetkin back. For all we know, right? He did everything the same way, set it up, and then he just took it to the head.
Yeah.
And Dillian probably just thought, I'm going to wear this and crack him back. And then before you knew it, first time at fight camp, though, that ref didn't count when he didn't need to. There was no count. There was just an immediate recovery position, wasn't there? Let's roll him over.
Yeah. Although I felt like he was kind of going for it. It was the corner that were like, no, this is done here.
That was definitely done.
Beautiful shot. I mean, you got to feel for Dillian. You know, so close. Like he could have tasted that shit. 1,000 days. Just, I mean, but he handled it like a champ. Like
absolute G. It's just like, I want a rematch.
Yeah.
All good. It's a tough one, right? Because you can't sit for 3 years inactive and then go and fight the world champion. What are you supposed to do? You have to stay active. You have to stay at the level that he's been rolling at. He's done exactly the same thing. He's become a much bigger star because of it. He's become a better fighter because of the opposition.
And fair fucks to him, man, because he takes risky fights.
Exactly, right? What it has done, though, is that the WBC have come out and they've said that there's no time limit now. So it's kind of worked out quite nicely because you got Eddie's already said the Soviet has got to do a rematch and they're talking about November. We'll do that at the end, right?
Which they wouldn't be chasing if it was the other way around. Like...
No, of course not. Of course not. But, he is interim champ. There is no time constraint on when he has to fight Fury now. And it kind of evens things out. So, if Deontay and Fury can't get stuff done, providing that AJ does do Pulev and you would assume does exactly what Klitschko did, probably a little bit quicker because Pulev's a lot older, whatever. They're now clear, right?
Well, so did you see AJ's even offered him the world title shot without him being mandatory? Did you see that? AJ afterwards was like, he'll give Dillian a shot. Yeah, he's like, I'll give Dillian a shot. I offered to him in 2019 and they turned it down. Even though he's not the mandatory, I'll still give him a shot. Stuff like that. So
yeah, he's I think you nailed it best that he's becoming more and more Sugar Ray Leonard. As the years go on, he's becoming the smiling assassin. Everyone's super nice around him. But we're going to go into how much of a cock he kind of is as well on the Hagler episode.
The Hagler special.
But yeah, he is very much so filling that void now, isn't he? Of the smiling. Oh, before I forget, out of 10, how much of a bag of shit is that bird, the Anna Woodhouse, whatever, the one with the glasses who does the boxing thing, right? Fact, like every single event, like she speaks well. She's a journalist, whatever, presenter, whatever. There's a reason that she's been picked, and I reckon I would allude that maybe she's a good time. Anywho, please, streets, bring us back. I've had too much coffee, and I had steak, and I've just, yeah.
I feel the sponsors just.
No. When we have these chats, can we do the reads ourselves? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. To be fair, I haven't taken much CBD today. And that's probably why I risked getting cancelled just then. But I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I'm not scared because
bring it.
We get our CBD.
We smile in the face of adversity.
from xbrain.co.uk. It's citrus flavored. It doesn't smell like your Uber Eats driver. It 100% does the job. It helps me go to sleep. It helps you go to sleep. It helps me deal with all of the thoughts that are in my head all the time about potential Cold War, hot war, you know, all of the things that I've got 2 small children. Who knows what this means, right? The WHO are coming out and saying that we've got another 2 years of this. I think it's probably correct to say another 2 years. Every time I watch the news now, 4 sprays. Immediate 4 sprays chills me right out. Right? It's like having my earlobes rubbed. But
we're working on a drip system. Just fucking straight to the source, mate. Come on, hit me.
It's tough out there right now, right? It's tough. People are still dying. People are still infected. We've still got nearly 1,200 a day infections. Everything seems a little bit on the nicey-nicey. One country goes off of the quarantine list. Another one pops on. How is Greece not on there? Who knows? I know about 35 people that are in Greece at the minute. Very stressful, as well as school starts again next week. I do not want some Nathan dad talk to me about how amazing it's been during lockdown. I'm going to 100% have some in my hand. And when one of them comes over with their fucking ankles on display with their roll-up jeans, spray. I don't want to talk to you, mate. xbrain.co.uk.
Doubles up as Mace 2. There you go.
Doubles up as Mace 2. You don't want that in the eyes. Promo code Coffee Combat saves you 30% from anything Xbrain. We've had a couple of messages regarding the code does or doesn't work. It does work. It works on Xbrain branded products. It doesn't work with promo packs because, you know, you don't get to the size of Xbrain when you're silly. You're not going to let them game the system. They're old. They know what they're doing, right? Coffee and Combat, 30% off anything Xbrain, yeah? It will not save you money on the Onnit subs just yet. There is another code that you can do on that one that will knock 10% off of that. I'm no mathematician, no mathlete, but 30% is 3 times what 10% is. Get involved.
Now with that math.
Yeah, boom. Have that. 30% off Coffee Combat, xbrain.co.uk. Back to reality. Dillian now has a rematch. Okay. They're talking about having it November, December. You know, maybe they do a massive card with AJ head of the bill. Who knows, right? I don't know where you're not doing that outside November, December. Oh, you're not doing that in the garden November, December. You got to be doing in a studio. Because let's be honest, this is going nowhere. There's no vaccine coming.
Yeah.
This side.
The thing, they're gonna. I don't know which way this goes because those fights they're gonna want money. Do you know what I mean? It's just like it's business. So do they rack up the pay-per-view?
See, now I actually think it's the other way round. Where, I mean, I'm not a promoter, nor do I know the logistics of pay-per-view television. But I would have thought that if you have the British Unified World Champ, which the last one was Lennox, yeah, and then before that, whenever was there a British and was Lennox is we claim him as ours, right? That's fact.
It's all right. We claim Costa Zoo.
Exactly.
Australian sounding name or
revert back to that in a minute. Yeah. We should really write things down, but fuck it. Do you make it a cheaper, more accessible $9.99 pay-per-view? Make it available to everyone. Do some deal because, you know, that's a stadium fight. If you're talking about like AJ Fury or the winner of AJ Fury against Dillian, they're stadium fights. They're 100,000 Wembley. They're 90,000 at the Millennium or whatever it is. You know, they're big events. But you can't have 90,000 people in one spot now.
Yeah.
You know, even if you
big stadium.
Yeah, but even if you socially distance and block off every 2 seats so you have the distance required, now you're dealing in a stadium that's running at a third capacity. So do you charge 3 times that for the ticket? No one's going to go. So then you surely have to do the new means of having it accessible via TV, having no crowd and making it completely and utterly reachable for everyone.
When can we get DAZN here, man? Like,
oh, that's a fucking liberty, isn't it? Like, I understand that DAZN would cannibalize Sky Sports Boxing, and I understand that it would. But how about this? Only show me DAZN, not from the UK. How hard is that?
Yeah.
Right? If DAZN has access to all of the US fights and blah 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 blah, just give me the access to the ones I can't see on TV here, and I'll
Yeah.
gladly pay $9.99 for it.
Hell
You know?
yeah.
I'd gladly pay for that. But I understand that if I get DAZN via other means, that I have access to all of the Sky Sports Boxing and anything that's Matchroom. I get that, right? They've got their exclusive contract. Who cares?
Yeah.
Before we go completely off topic, Dillian,
Yes.
what did you think that, you know, maybe the 5-month camp was too long? Do you think that maybe he got, I mean, he got cracked, right? It's heavyweight boxing. It happens at any time with anyone at any moment. That's always, you know, you're 17 stone men swinging bones at each other. It's always going to happen. I think
he nailed it, mate.
Yeah, I thought he was spearing the jab. I think everything he did well. The only thing that you could possibly say is that maybe he did the right thing though by being calm in the fourth instead of jumping on him where potentially that happened
for sure.
in the fourth, right? He had
Povetkin's a wily vet. You don't jump on someone like that. That's a good way to walk straight onto a counter.
Exactly.
No, I thought he did great. I think it was even mentioned in the commentary too. He went from having beautiful spearing jabs to almost lazily retracting it on some.
Yeah.
And that's one of with the way that Povetkin loves. He did it with AJ, that counter in, coming with that loop and right hand.
Yep.
You don't want to be doing that, but he didn't really eat the shot, so it wasn't such a cause of concern. But if the fight went a bit longer, that would have been one to be like, ooh, careful with that. I think it is literally, like you said, the heavyweights. Povetkin is no chump. And Dillian, it's not like he looked like shit out there. He was boxing fantastic.
He looked wicked.
I thought he looked great, and he just got caught. He summed it up well. He just said, look, these things happen. I got caught. He took it like a fucking boss, which there should be more of. And, you know, it's not like you'd have to be an arsehole to want to pull him down because of that. Do you know what I mean? He fought a risky guy. He got caught. It happens. I tell you what, you want to talk shit, you jump in there with Povetkin, see how you go, right? Like, fuck getting hit by that.
And we're also talking about, Povetkin, the vet that he is, that's the flicker before the flame goes out, right? Yeah. You're talking about 2-3 clean shots before that fight. Maybe the ref stops it to save him. Maybe his corner stops it to save him. You know, that is 30 seconds from the other way. Without a question, right? That's one jab, one straight, one body shot. Anything, single shots can just do that, as we saw.
Yep.
And it's a very different narrative if he didn't nail the perfect shot at the perfect time, like only a pro of his caliber can do. I've never seen Zoo Jr. fight. Discuss, because he's fighting Jeff Horn tomorrow night.
He is. Oh, yeah, fuck. It's tomorrow. Because I was like, are we going to do this on the next one? But
no, it's tomorrow night. It would have already done. We'd just do the result on the weekend preview. Shout out my mum's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, bless Mama Rondel. Happy birthday.
Yeah, Jeannie, have that.
Right. This is actually a really interesting matchup. So, Tim Tszyu, great little fighter. There's shades. It's like when you see all the sons, they've got the shades of the old man. You know, you see like Campbell Hatton on the pads. Yeah. He's got the proper Ricky style to him. Now, Horn, obviously, much more experience. He's been in there with top quality guys.
Do you remember when he said he was going to beat Crawford? Thanks.
Yeah, I feel like.
Do you remember when he said that, and then he said, "If you're really a man, you'll just fight me with one hand," and it was just like, bro, wait, what? Hold on, hold on, wait, let's just run that back. Hold on a second. Yeah, that was bad.
It's like the fights where they talk shit about them for using footwork. Oh, he was running. He's like, no, the aim is to hit and not get hit, not just stand up like. Yeah, anyway, this could go either way, really. Like, I know people are very much one side, very much the other side. if Zoo can box smart,
Talk to me about
he
the Aussie scene. Is it similar to our scene? Because you know the only there's not that many fighters that come out of Oz, right?
yeah.
You've had Katsidis. What was the lighter weight boy?
We had Jeff Fennick.
Jeff Fennick, yeah. Yeah,
Big-
Mundane, Cassidis. Like Cassidis made it into, but
We
he
got
was
Cambosis Jr. at the minute, who's a fucking savage beast.
Okay.
Make sure you check him out.
But is it similar to like us and the Germans love
Yep.
boxing, right? They'll fill stadiums with some geezer that no one's ever seen outside of the UK or Germany. Is it similar?
So, right, the thing with Aussie boxing is it's there's a lot of other sports in Oz that like that's people's life. Like football here, it's the same.
Yeah.
We've got our football over there. The sad thing with the boxing in Australia is do you remember? I think it was when Green fought Jones, or
Okay.
it might have been the Horn packet. But I just remember to become a legend, you got to be the legend. It's like in Australia, there's a lot of our prospect fighting someone who's had their best days. They win, and that projects them into the bigger scene. Now, Australia, they're very big on the sports. They love it. They love a fight, whether it's in or outside of the ring.
How is
it's
BKB not massive in Oz?
So I know loads of guys that did the BKB, but it's literally tent shit. Like it's just the tent travel. You know what I mean? It's just like, so in Australia previously, there wasn't really the platform. I guess that would be the biggest thing. There wasn't as big a platform like here. Also too in Oz, it's not as big to do the whole journeyman thing. They pretty much, as soon as they start the careers, they're fighting. And that's it. And then it's just the ones that make it that super high level, they're a bit fewer. We do have the ones, but it's not like here. In pretty much every division, you got someone who's a champ or is a contender. Oz, we're definitely not at that stage, but it's getting there. Do you know what I mean? We have those gems, and definitely in the UFC, they
love the UFC, don't they?
Yeah. Even the Muay Thai and things like that, there's some great fighters, if you include New Zealand as well.
Yeah, that's a big thing, because you're on the other side of the planet.
There's
right?
a lot less.
You know,
of us too,
there's
you know?
there's a lot less of you. It's a big place. You know, there's got to be, you know, a proclivity like John Wayne Parr, legend, right? But is you know, legend of Thai. It seems to be like that. Seems to be almost the go-to combat sport, because the big venue, the big avenue for any sort of fame is Muay Thai, right, in Thailand.
Well, it's also like proximity, because there it makes sense. It's like Thailand's around the corner. The thought of going, you know, like it's such a big,
fly in 26 hours.
Yeah.
Bothered. Yeah.
So, but no, it's definitely getting. I would say habitually we have like the little gem, and the gems are getting more and more frequent. But make sure you check out Cambosis. That guy's an animal. Guys, check him out.
So Young Zhu, is he a bad man?
You know what? I really like the way he fights. I do.
Okay.
Horn is like the typical Aussie.
Face.
Yeah. He's the typical Aussie. So in the Olympic selections, the coach at the time was just like, box guys, like don't just come to fight. Australia did historically have that, just, you know, come forward, fight thing, and that's why it'll just be like, if Zhu can kind of keep it at range a little bit.
Yeah.
He has, it's early for him, but he has the skills to potentially do it.
Yeah.
But Horn at the same time, with that experience and stuff, can just mean mug, get on the inside and do it. Like personally, I love Costa. I'm rooting for Zhu. Like I want him to do it. I'm still a bit dirty on Horn for that whole Pacquiao thing, you know. Yeah,
that was rude, wasn't it? And you can't claim victory again when you're another one that looked like Quagmire in a car crash. Like his face was fucked, right? You know, Manny didn't want to do more damage to him. That is how much he knew that he was hurting him. Like,
not many people do. Like the difference between, obviously there was the history, and we will cover that probably in its own thing. But like he was pulling back, Pacquiao was pulling back on Margarito when he started like caving that face in, whereas Cotto was just like, that is my target, man.
I've got to have you. But yeah, that's the list. So are you saying Horn or Young Zoo?
I'm going to go with the heart on this one, and I'm going to go with Zoo. I'm going to leave the mind out of it. I'm going with the heart. I'm going to say Zoo. Controversial it may be. I'm going there.
Revolution. There was a thing put out today that with pretty much all of the Matchroom controversial decisions over on Fight Camp. So you got like the Povetkin and White rematch, which has to happen. Then on top of that, you got Shannon Courtney and Rachel Ball. You got Jonas and Harper. You got the egg and the cheese, and then you've got Anthony Fowler and Scott Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald, yes, yeah.
They want to go again. I mean, that's a tailor-made. That's a tailor-made card. Done. Yeah, that's got to be done. And you know, if you can get that done by November, late November, maybe you put a few of those on the AJ undercard. Maybe you've put a few of them on the Povetkin Dillian undercard.
That would be, mate.
Like... And, or you just do it all in one big one like that. I mean, that's what like 5 fights.
And most of them would be chomping at the bit for those rematches. So
right.
Put Chelly on there as well. Let the man have his...
He needs to have his rematch. And if we can all do a donation to get Jack Cullen a wax, it would really, really, really help quite a lot.
And a new robe. We'll get Chelly a robe.
That's Shelley, yeah. I mean, he can have my one.
Oh. Right. See, that's how you do a robe. You're gonna do a robe.
That's how you do it. You do it black. You do it fur. You do gold gems on the back. You do leopard print, and you make it a traditional Kazakh one. Fine. Who cares, right? And that's how we do it. That's exactly how we do it. Streets, my brother. I think we're about an hour something. Yeah, at 1:01.
Oh, that's flown by.
I know.
We've ticked all our boxes.
Boom. Should we wrap that shit up and then we're back for Hagler, and then we're back for a preview of the weekend, which decent weekend.
Yep. It really is. I mean,
yeah, under the radar again.
It was like, oh fuck, I don't think anything. Oh my god.
Yeah, there's loads. Yeah. And then Sunday we're gonna get another history ep out. We're gonna do 2 this week because of the meetings that we've had to have with the agents, etc., etc. Everyone, if you could like, rate, review, and subscribe, share this with your friends. Anyone that you think wants to hear the mental ramblings of 2 bald, blessed, beautiful, bearded men, let them know. Just share it out. It goes a long way. The competition to win the RS1 sparring gloves is still going big. The reviews are up. They're cruising in. If I'm honest, the ones that I've seen, little bit vanilla. Some of them are all right. You know, I want to have a little chuckle. I don't like. We're not here to like gift mediocrity, right? I don't want people to win gloves by default. If you know us and you are enjoying the podcast, I don't want to name names because there are names out there. I'm seeing that you haven't done reviews, and it's a personal affront to Streets and I that you haven't done that. So like, rate, review, subscribe, write a review,
rectify it immediately.
Rectify that, potentially win yourself a powerful pair of gloves. We have 2 of them to give away. As always, powered by xbrain.co.uk. Promo code Coffee Combat knocks 30% off your order. My brother Streets, is there anything more you need to add? And I'm so jealous of your man cave. Just so jealous of it.
You've got to come around. We're going to do one simultaneously here. First simultaneous podcast.
Let's share in a mic.
Mate, got nothing to add.
Boom. Everyone, a pleasure. Bye.
And I'm